Hello everybody! Welcome to a late Sunday fun day, and as penance I shaved. I was wanting to shave for forever. It's just getting too damn hot for beards. And yes, I know this one is a little late, but hey, I have a bit of a surprise. I actually have two Sunday fun days. This, of course, being the first one, and as evident. And I'm here to talk about Bulletproof 2. I I don't know why I decided to watch this beyond the fact it was released in 2020, but I just decided to fuck it, let's just see if it can be any good. Not that I have fond memories of the original Bulletproof with Damon Wayans and Adam Sandler. It was kind of a breakout role for Adam Sandler. It was one of his first big roles. He wasn't the lead in it, but he was one of the main co-stars, in a way of saying it. Technically, in the movie, Damon Wayans was the true out-and-out lead, but pretty much his supporting actor was, of course, Adam Sandler. Like I said, some people have fond memories of the movie. I, for one, find the movie more tedious than anything. It's not that Adam Sandler's at his worst. He has done far, far worse things to comedy than Bulletproof. But it's a movie that always felt at odds with itself. Like it really wanted to be a harder edge, still buddy cop kind of film in vein of that of Lethal Weapon, but it also wanted to have that hard edge that Lethal Weapon did. But it never meshed really well with Adam Sandler's acting capabilities at the time. Mind you, Adam Sandler at that time was very, very young. Like he had just pretty much finished, what was it called, Going Overboard, whatever the movie is that he was on the boat. I remember about the movies hating every second of it. Now, because of that, he was pretty much geared for comedy. In fact, he was supposed to be the comic relief. Never mind the fact Damon Wayans can actually be very, very funny. Proof in many other movies, especially, say, for instance, Major Payne. This, in the first Bulletproof, since I have to technically review it real fast, Damon Wayans is kind of the straight man, for lack of a better way to put it. He is very much the Riggs to Adam Sandler's Murtaugh, which never meshed as well as it should. One, Adam Sandler's acting chops were not 100% there yet. He was still learning. He was still trying to get comfortable in his own shoes. Two, the storyline was very generic, for lack of a better way to put it. The best way to put it is Jack Carter had to save his friend and Archie Moses, or ex-best friend, who had actually ended up shooting him and almost killed him, and he has a metal plate in his head and stuff that actually plays more of an important role in the second movie, strangely enough. Gotta get into it, I swear. And it turns out that Jack Carter he was an undercover agent, and he busts Archie Moses, and Archie ended up kind of eventually still being mad at Jack, but then Jack had to save Archie because he's an informant for this pretty much mob boss in a way. A criminal mastermind is even what IMDb calls him. Like, he's a mob boss. Again, Amazon, you are owned by a crime syndicate, but come on. But here, but it never fully clicked. I think it took too long for Bulletproof Original to started, and that's what ultimately did not help it. Like, it took way too long for us to finally get to the split part. Like, it was nearly 30 minutes into an hour and 40-minute long movie. But then we get Bulletproof 2. One, this is a pseudo sequel to the original. The reason why I call it that is because in this, it defines the entire idea of the first movie as being a Hollywood production. Like, literally, the first movie just it existed as a movie in and of itself. The events possibly happened, but it was all movies. The weirdest fucking premise for a sequel I've ever heard. And on top of that, you have two characters who, the reason why I guess they decide, oh, well, they look nothing like the original counterparts, is because it's a movie. The absolute hell, guys. What the fuck? I have never seen a movie just so quickly decide that it wants to distance itself from the original by just trying to outright act like the original kind of really sort of didn't happen but did. So because of that, a lot of this movie is really, really fucking annoying whenever it deals with that aspect. And the rest of the movie is fucking annoying. The entire premise of this movie is, hey, let's see how many times we get these guys to say the word fuck and mention pussy and mention tits. Because that was what the first movie missed. It wasn't missing a plot that took forever and a day to fucking start. It wasn't missing, for no reason, goddamn Dutch angles every 5 seconds. Oh, it wasn't. It was totally missing the fact that we needed to have comedic, almost sound effects for everything. Like, punches in this movie don't just sound like regular punches. It sounds like what you would expect to hear in a fucking Power Rangers show. These, like, overexaggerated, like, whenever he's punching, it was like, am I watching, like, something from the 90s? What the hell's going on here? And all the guns sound exactly the same. And I was like, I swear these sounds are ripped from one of the Close Combat games, which is based in World War II, strangely enough. That's a weird way that this movie decides to do things. But on top of all of that, this movie is just so irritating. Another issue with the original movie was that Jack Carter wasn't exactly a very interesting lead character. It's kind of an issue with Damon Wayans. Yes, he is very funny. He can make you roll on the ground just laughing. But his character always how he will portray himself is either super straight edge to the point to where he's kind of dull, or over the top where he's at least enjoyable for a laugh, but you can never take him seriously. Bulletproof always veered towards the latter. He never really was a super, funny guy in it, and because of that, you lost his bit of humor. And on top of everything, he's just not interesting. The only times I've ever seen Damon Wayans be able to pull off semi-serious was in a movie like Last Boy Scout. Those who have not seen Last Boy Scout, go check it out. It's actually really damn good. But in that, he is meant to be somewhat comedic still, though. But he does have his own seriousness. But at least it feels like it's not in stark contrast to the entire movie. The first one, it really felt like. Here, instead, I have his name down here. We have the lead actor, Faison Love. Those who do not know him, he is, the best way to put it is he is the heavy set guy who we need whenever we don't know who else we're going to cast for a fat black actor. Not trying to pick on the guy. I believe he has a stand-up comedy and all that before, which I'm pretty sure he's great at. Acting is not his forte. Everything he says is just this horrible line reads. It sounds like he's so boring, barely make it through the sentence without fall asleep. Or it's over the top and like he's trying to be a cartoon. It's so bizarre, and it constantly just fights with every scene he's in. Like, anytime he's meant to be slightly dramatic, he's cartoony. Anytime he's meant to be slightly comedic, he sounds bored. He sounds like he's reading off a line and he's like, well, I guess I'll read this line. because this thing, it's just, his acting is, it makes Adam Sandler's performance in the original Bulletproof, which was a bad performance, look like an Oscar winner. It's so tremendously terrible. It's surprising that they decided this is the final take. I guess because we couldn't figure out any other thing to do, so we decided to say, fuck it, just let him go with this shtick of this terrible actor, I guess. And also, it takes so long for the movie to finally introduce Archie. Not that Archie's a super important character, not that he's a particularly great actor. Those who are wondering, his actor's name is Kirk Cox. I have seen a lot of shit he's in, but he is in the background of everything. So, literally, they grabbed a background actor or a side character always and decided to put him in the middle of everything. Because Lord knows we need to grab some more bad acting to stick in the middle of this bad actor's entire shitty fucking movie. Ugh. But yeah, for us to finally meet the second character to this buddy cop film, it takes nearly 30 goddamn minutes in an hour and a half long movie. What the fuck? That was one of the problems with the original movie, is that it took way too long for us to finally get this actual, like, the buddy cop issue of the movie and get the whole premise of what the movie was built on going. It's like, what the hell? Y'all, you just went secular here and just decided to make the same fucking problem. How do you accomplish this shit? How do you manage to make the first one look more competent? Because it's like, hey, at least it was setting up character. Here, the characters are supposed to already be set up, though at the same time, they aren't, because it's trying to ignore some of the first one, but at the same time, it's trying to pretend that the first one did at least happen, at least in the sense of the events actually happened. What the hell is this movie trying to do here? Because all I can see is that the movie is sitting there just grabbing at ropes and trying to hope that some kind of an idea comes together. And hell, like, the big thing behind it and the reason why it has to make this stupid idea, or has to try and gather together some kind of an idea, it tries to say, it's like, oh, well, you know, we're gonna have to go after these South African drug lords for reasons. Never mind the fact that it's weird that's South Africa. And not only that, but the movie really, it jumbles around and jumps around in different places where it doesn't always 100% work. Like, for instance, that setup, the fact that, oh, they're having to go after South African drug lords. Okay, fine. Never mind the fact that doesn't exactly geographically make a lot of sense, and also doesn't make a lot of sense that a DEA agent's kind of being pulled in alongside it. It's like, but wait, nope, I'm not going to start pulling apart that part of the plot, because it's like, why would they go after something else? But, you know, instead we're going to go after the people who are trying to move the money instead of going after the drugs themselves. Don't let me be the one to point out a flaw in your planning. But it makes a big deal that, like, in the first, like, action, or second action sequence, technically, they have this big shootout, and again, it's just comically over the top in terms of action in certain regards, which could work, I guess, but one, it's edited way too quickly. Like, there's a lot of quick jump cuts, and only that, but everybody is being so, and why I say it's comically over the top, it's because of how everybody's shooting. Everybody holds a gun like this, because, you know, shooting a gun from the back of your skull is the best way to do it. I mean, like, even a guy who, like, is holding a pistol is doing like this. It's the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen. I've never seen a movie so incompetent in terms of shooting an actual gunfight sequence. It's like, could you not put these guys on a gun range for a few days and just at least have a guy teach them how to hold a gun? So that way, you know, they don't look like buffoons. And it's just, it's so quick. The first action sequence is so quickly cut together. Like, just constantly shooting, people are dying and people are bleeding and shit like that. And it's like, who's dying on which side? What is the hell is happening right now? And anytime there's like fisticuffs thrown, and we get to hear the over the top punching, I mean, I'm making almost the same noise the movie is. It's so weird. It's like, this seems like how they would have shot something that was like done for television. And I'm guessing this is now in South Africa, but there's also, here's another thing, because suddenly now Jack Carter has to pretend to be Archie Moses because he's got to get these South Africans in with these Mexican cartels for reasons that it doesn't really explain really good. And on top of everything, like, they're so worried about, or after a bit, Jack Carter's like, oh, well, I'm kind of worried that Archie might get killed. Let me go find him now. It's like, wait, what? Wait, why? Why would you care? Because the whole, like, beforehand, I don't care about Archie Moses. I need 12 more hamburgers. I know I'm a big guy, but dear God, poor Phasian Love. This guy's not built for an action movie. Sorry. And it's, that whole idea doesn't really work real well. It would have been one thing, like, at least in the first one, it's strange it's trying to make me defend the first movie. But in the original movie, it at least has the idea that Jack has to cover Archie because he's a witness to a crime, so that way they can bust this big, crime boss. But here it's simply because Jack's now suddenly worried that Archie might get killed. The hell? What are you trying to say here, movie? And again, it takes nearly 30 damn minutes for this to happen. And beforehand, we have to have really, really, really bad dialogue, Phasian Love sleepwalking through performances, or being over the top and almost doing like this the whole time. And it's like, what the hell is this movie doing? I am so confused. I don't know what was going on behind the scenes with this film. I think somebody had a pound of coke and just decided to say, fuck it, we're shooting a movie. Especially since, like, 9/10 of this movie takes place all in one spot. It's like, takes place in this, like, mansion where they're having to stay out with these criminals and pretend to be, well, Jack has to pretend to be Archie, and then eventually Archie has to pretend to be somebody else. And what? Why? And constantly the dialogue will just want to shift between, we have to have Archie pretending he's trying to be bad, but he's got to carry on and on and on like he's got fucking Vince Vaughn syndrome. It's got that, well, the things are the thing, because, the things, and thingy thing. Oh, but this is the other thingy, because I like the other thingy. The thing, this is not the other thingy, that I like the other thingy. And it's like, after a while, I just want to go, shut up. Just shut up. You're not funny. This is one of the biggest problems with this entire film. Like, it bills itself. Its entire thing is that it is a comedy. First and foremost. Obviously, because Phasian Love cannot do action. No offense. He's not nimble, and every action sequence actually looks really, really terrible with him involved. Because he's a heavier set guy. It's just not believable. That is a problem there. Especially whenever people are shooting at him from like 3 feet away, and no offense, they can't hit him. I'm a big fucking target. I'm easily to be hit. This guy is not Spider-Man. But every time that we're supposed to have this comedy, it's always just Phasian Love trying to either just sleepwalk through a joke, or Archie Moses not knowing when to shut up. I call him Archie Moses because he's just not an actor. He doesn't exist. He's a set prop that they brought on that has gained sentience and somehow is acting. Because everything he says is just like this. I don't know why he's talking like this weird lisp thing. It's so bizarre, and it just worked for the entire film. And on top of that, whenever he does that constant just won't shut up shit, it's not funny, it's not cute, it's not adorable, it's just annoying. You just slowly feel your brain leaking out of your head. It's just the most obnoxious noise you could hear to get tire time. And to top it all off, the movie is only an hour and a half long, but it feels so much longer because of it. Like, it feels like this movie takes forever to finally fucking get moving. And by the time it moves for 5 seconds and then sits still for another 30 minutes. The entire length of this movie could be cut down to what equates to like a TV, like a hour-long television show. It feels like it was just extended so that way they're like, well, nobody's going to buy this because it's not a really good show. Not even HBO or, Netflix even, or Hulu. Nobody is stupid enough to pay for this shit. And that's what I think was trying to be done here. Because you can tell, like, there is some money put towards the film. It doesn't look terrible. It's at least decently lit throughout some parts. But a lot of the, like, pointless, like, rambling and some of the bad acting and just the overall feel of the entire movie just fails. And on top of everything, it wants to believe it's also Suicide Squad, I think. Because it has to, like, whenever it introduces characters, it has this, like, quick, like, comic book style cut. And this is Jack Carter. Okay, thanks. Archie Moses, because he's important to the plot. He's not really, because he could be killed and the plot would still move. Okay. And on top of everything, he's just not an interesting character. Like, the only big defining characteristic for him, constantly he's like, I like pussy. I like pussy, and I am so good with it. I will make so good with it with my juice. I can murder put it. It's like, what the fuck am I watching here? Did we bring on the special kid to decide to start acting or something? Fuck is happening right now? I don't get what this movie was wanting to do. Not saying that movies have to have like this big, hard, reason for existing, but there has to be a reason you decide to make a, sequel to a movie from over 20 years ago. Hell, it's been nearly 30 years. It's like they said, you know what? We got a premise for a shitty buddy cop film. Let's link it to something else and print money. And it's like, but you have to have a script. And like, nope, no script. Just going to be random shit happening and random piss poor action sequences. Okay, so we're going to get a director that can maybe make him look decent? Nope. We're just going to go with the worst shit we can think of. We are geniuses. What was the point of this movie? Why did this even need to be? Not saying that Bulletproof was something that couldn't do without a sequel. Or even a remake, for lack of a better way to say it. Or a reboot. This is a film that easily could have been redone and done better. But instead, they figured out a way to completely fuck things up and make the original seem better. The original is not good. It's actually kind of bad. This is terrible. This is piss poor acting, piss poor direction, infuriating in line read. It's throughout the entire film. And on top of everything, it wastes your time. And it feels like it goes on forever. It's an hour and a half long movie. It feels like it's double that length. Because it's just so fucking infuriating. Like, there's many times I was sitting there just trying to watch it. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Why is this happening? Why did we suddenly switch over to this? Why do I care about this? Give me something, movie. Give me something other than shtick. Instead, that's 85% of this movie. The other 15% is phasing in love, trying not to fall asleep on set. Ugh. Oh, this fucking movie. God. Oh, Jesus. It's bad that the original doesn't have a really good score, if you want to go by IMDb and public a score, an idea of something being good or not. The original does not have a very good score. This is catastrophically lower. Like, I get, like, the original is like a 5 point something or another. It's not a good 5. But this one is nearly a 3 in terms of its actual, like, IMDb score. And that's fucking generous. Though it seems to be overweighted by people who are like, well, this is so good. It's so good. And it's all they say in their reviews. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Give an actual reason. It's like, oh, wait. That's phasing in love, ratting a few things. And maybe a few of these producers. It's a great movie. It has comedies and titties. Oh, and that's another thing. If I am not one of these prudes who gets mad when somebody says the word fuck or sees a tit or anything like that. But, dear God, 89% of the dialogue that has to come out of Phasey and Love's mouth all has to deal with sex. And it's like, okay, I get it. That's kind of your shtick as a stand-up comedian, I guess. But after a while, it begins to feel tired. It begins to feel played out. And honestly, it just doesn't lead to any good punchlines. Except for like random ass puns. Or the fact that he shouldn't have sex because somehow that will make the bullet that's in his head possibly kill him. Because we know when you have sex, there's a lot of things going on to your head. The absolute hell is wrong with y'all? Did we just write, God, this will make sense? You know the whole idea that William Shakespeare plays could be written by a bunch of monkeys? I honestly think they grabbed like 15 pissed off chimpanzees, told them to smash on typewriters for 4 hours, and like, here, let's go with the script. Here we go. We might even include this poo-flinging scene too. God, it sucks. It's terrible. It is one of the few movies this year that it feels bad in terms of saying this, because I feel like I said it just recently. There's not really anything redeeming about it. Like, it's not a movie you would watch because you really like the original, because it disregards most of the original, and on top of everything, it kind of just shits all over because it's too Hollywood. Well, this fucking isn't. Fuck off, you dumbass. You're as Hollywood as CSI or NCIS. Shitheads. But on top of everything, you wouldn't want to watch this if you were wanting to watch a good buddy cop film, because there's many better buddy cop films. Like the original, strangely enough. Somehow they accomplished that, which is a weird feat I didn't think was humanly possible. Oh, God damn this movie to hell. But I guess I need to give it some kind of a score. And just as you would figure, it's a 1. And I hate to be so much just, it's either Paradigm or Renegade, you know. I don't have, one way or the other. I have no real middle ground, but the problem is, this is such a piss poor effort that I can't even find anything redeeming about it. It's like, oh, well, maybe this, stripper who has like, kind of like strippers have kung fu skills, maybe that could be interesting. Oh, wait, no, I forgot the action's shot like shit in this entire movie, so it kind of keeps flipping around, and guy has Dutch angles for no reason, so you can't see the action real well. And on top of everything, it's got these over-the-top comedic sound effects. It sounds like a goddamn Mortal Kombat game or something like that. Not even a new one, like Mortal Kombat 2. And it's just, I just don't know the why behind it. It's like, why make a movie so aggressively unfunny and so aggressively boring too? Like the filmmakers had to sat there after watching this and went, "This movie's bad, guys. Like it's terrible." Like they had to look at each other and go, "This movie shouldn't see the light of day. This should be burned. We should just say it's a wash and tell everybody it's like, nope, this thing just didn't come through. Sorry." No, they decided to inflict this blight upon us. Ugh, the same assholes decided to start spreading coronavirus. God damn this movie. Just fuck it all to hell. Oh. But hey, that's Bulletproof too. Yeah. I can't even get enthusiastically angry at it just because it's so unenthusiastically terrible. It is one of the most unmitigated shit shows. Sorry, a lot of shuts in there. But it's so much of a shit show that it's hard to sit there and watch it. It's not even like a good bad movie. It's just a bad flick. Like it's a Billie Eilish, I'm a banger. It's that just lazy, unenthusiastic, and all around fucking atrocious. So yeah, fuck Bulletproof 2. Go watch anything else. Go watch your dog taking a shit on your brand new car. It's a little bit more entertaining. Oh, but hey, I'll be back here in just a few minutes with something else that hopefully will inspire a little bit better of an attitude towards me, or for myself. But hey, I'll see y'all then. So till then, bye-bye, everybody.